Hey everybody, MorbTron here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about some stuff that was mentioned in the This Week at Bungie blog post, or the TWAB. Now, generally, I don't even talk about stuff on the TWAB unless it's something important, and hey, they mentioned some stuff that's pretty big that I wanted to touch base on. Now, I should have posted this video going up yesterday, but I worked a 12-hour shift that day, and I did not have time to cover it. So I do apologize for that, but they're doing two things to armor that I think is pretty big, and it's around putting mods on armor. It's like, we had Armor 2.0 going to Shadowkeep. This would be like Armor 2.1, 2.2, whatever you want to call it. So the first thing is an issue that I had going into Season 9. It's an issue a lot of people had, actually. That last mod slot on your armor that you'd put the seasonal mods in. So the Charge with Light mods from Season 9 that almost nobody uses. Or from Season 8 you had the mods that give you like the nightmare bonuses when you're doing like nightmare hunts, or the mods that affect the current Garden of Salvation raid, that sort of thing. That mod slot, that's what I'm talking about. Not the one that gives you resilience or intellect or anything like that. Not the one that gives you like a bonus for picking up extra special ammo or anything like that. No ammo finder mods. The seasonal mod slot. That is being changed so that it's just going to be a seasonal mod slot overall. And what I mean by that is, right now, you cannot put a Season 9 seasonal mod. You can't put like a Charge with Light mod into a piece of seasonal gear that you got last season. So let's say, like myself, I have some armor that has some good stat rolls on it that you can only put Season 8 seasonal mods in, meaning the Nightmare Hunt mods, the raid mods, that sort of thing. And also, you can't put raid mods or anything, or the Nightmare Hunt mods, in Season 9 seasonal mod slots. You can only put the Charge with Light mods there. So they're changing that. So they're going to make it so that any seasonal mod can go into any seasonal mod slot, which is very, very good, because it was going to make armors obsolete if the new seasonal mods were actually worth a damn. I was very worried that the Charge with Light stuff was actually going to be worth using. Luckily, it wasn't that big of a deal. So I didn't have to completely regrind for an entire set on my Titan. I can only imagine the people that have the time to gather good armor sets for all three of their classes, having a complete set of armor on each set of their characters become obsolete, even if it has a good stat roll on it. Very bad, very bad. So I'm glad that that's changing, and I'm glad that, year to year I'm fine with farming for, new armor sets, but not season to season. That's a little bit too soon, in my opinion, and they're changing that, so that's good. That is a very good change. I'm glad that that's happening. So now I don't have to worry about when next season rolls around, if the seasonal mods are going to be really good, I'm going to be able to use them on all my gear right away, or as soon as I unlock the mod. So that's cool, and I can't wait for that to happen. But another thing that they are changing, so if you look at your armor right now, or any of your armor, it has an elemental affinity on it, and you can only put mods on your armor that match that affinity. So let's say if my gauntlets are solar, I can put things like fusion rifle reloader, linear fusion reloader, but I can't put them on gauntlets that are arc or void affinity, unless they're, in the artifact mod, and then they're really not an affinity mod anyway. But excluding those, excluding universal mods, you can't flip-flop around the affinity mods. What they're going to be doing in Season 10 and beyond is they're going to make it so that you can change the elemental affinity of a piece of armor. Now, it will be incredibly, prohibitively expensive on items that are already completely masterworked, because the way that it's going to work is it's going to cost one upgrade module to switch the elemental type of a piece of armor, say from solar affinity to arc or to void or vice versa. But the way that it's going to work now, or Season 10 moving forward, is if the energy, meaning the level of masterwork going into a piece of armor, so if it's fully masterworked, it's at 10 energy. If there's nothing into it, it's at 1 energy, or anywhere in between. If it's at 1 energy, it will only cost the upgrade module to switch the elemental affinity. But if it's fully masterworked, it'll cost all of the materials to fully masterwork it again, plus an upgrade module. So where this comes in handy, in my opinion, if you're farming, if you want like a piece of exotic armor, it's very difficult to farm for a specific piece of armor, and you can pull them out of collections, yes, but if you're looking for something that's off of its, collection's affinity, say you want to pull a Doomfang Pauldrons out for your Titan, and the elemental affinity on those base is void. I'm not sure if that's actually the case, but just for an example, they're void, and you want a arc set. Well, you can't just pull an arc version of those out of collections, but now what you'll be able to do is if you get a drop, or you pull something out of collections, you'll be able to spend an upgrade module, plus whatever materials it's going to cost to get it to that level of masterwork, or that level of energy, to flip it over to whatever element you want. And Bungie hasn't said if there's any limit on that, like if you can switch back and forth constantly, but I don't think there would be, considering how prohibitively expensive it's going to be. It's going to be incredibly expensive to do that, especially on exotics. Going to full masterwork, it takes 3 ascendant cores, and that's a lot. So I mean, if you're a high roller and you're sitting on a ton of materials, you might be able to do it a couple times, but still, that's incredibly expensive. So you're going to want to do this stuff, or you're only going to want to do this to stuff that's recent, that's like a fresh drop, that doesn't have a whole lot invested into it as far as energy goes. So that's good, because there are certain armor pieces that I have that I'm hunting for, especially exotics. Like non-exotics doesn't really matter. After playing even a short amount of time on on whatever class you're playing on, whatever's your main or your alt or whatever, you can fill out legendary armor. That's not really that big of a deal, but exotics is another thing. So I've been hunting for, a solar affinity version of the Heart of Inmost Light now in my Titan, basically since Armor 2.0 hit, which is, a good, well, almost 2 full seasons now, and I still haven't gotten one. And in fact, I've only gotten one Heart of Inmost Light to actually drop on my Titan, and it happened to be an Arc Affinity, which is its base affinity anyway. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice to be able to switch over, another exotic if you want a specific elemental affinity. But yeah, that's it. They also did kind of touch base on the whole having to shut the servers down twice now for people losing materials and having to do character rollbacks. They say, and they go into a little bit of detail about why that issue happened and how they fixed it. And they say it should never happen again. And they say that it's their bad, and they apologize for that happening twice in a row, or even once at all. It just shouldn't have happened. Destiny 2 is starting to show its age. It's a really, really big game. There's a lot of data, a lot of stuff. And not only that, but there's been a lot of like wipes and reworks for like the armor, and especially weapons. Like, going back to Destiny 1, the weapon system changed a little bit from when Destiny originally launched to the end of Destiny 1. At the start of Destiny, you had to level up your weapons to be able to unlock all the perks and stuff on them. And you still had to do that at the end of Destiny 1. It was just basically given to you because you're able to spend some materials to do that for you. And the weapon system layout, you didn't have to level up its damage, only its perks. Whereas at the beginning of Destiny 1, a weapon did more and more damage as you leveled it up as well. You had to unlock its full damage potential. So I don't know. I kind of miss that. It'd be nice to have to spend some time with a weapon before it has all of its perks unlocked. You can kind of see how each perk affects the weapon. But, yeah. Either way, from year 1 of Destiny 2, when we had, set rolls on all of our weapons, and our armor was basically, well, it didn't have any sort of stats on it at all at the beginning of Destiny 2. So going from that to what we have now, where we have random rolls on weapons, we have, mods. We went from random perks on armor to having slotted mods like we have now in Armor 2.0. There's been a lot of big sweeping changes in Destiny, and I can only imagine the strain that's put on the engine and just the game overall, it being one big, huge program. It's a lot of gigs. If you look on your PC or on your consoles, whatever, I know on PlayStation the game is a little bit bigger for some reason. I don't know why exactly, but it is. But there's a lot of data. There's a lot of stuff. And so as the game gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, load times increase, and the amount of data over data over data over data can tend to strain the game a little bit and cause bugs, and that's starting to happen. So we'll see if Bungie can't do some sort of like data crunch and get rid of old stuff that isn't used anymore, so we can kind of lighten the load on our systems a little bit. But we'll see. That sounds like a pretty big undertaking, and who knows if that'll happen at all before there's some sort of Destiny 3, if that's ever going to happen. But that's all I wanted to talk about today, is those things. So like I said, there will be a link in the description to the TWAB down below. Whatever gameplay is running over this, I have no clue. I'm recording this audio before I record any video, so hopefully you enjoyed the background footage. But if you liked the video, hit the like button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're new here, subscribe for more stuff. But do not forget to have a good day, everybody, and I will catch you all next time.